Hello, my name is Greg Donovan. I'm an accountant. I have a bachelor's and a master's in accounting with a focus in taxation. Today I wanted to talk about medical marijuana dispensary and how it's handled for tax purposes. There's a lot of confusion, and I just recently, not too long ago, got my first client in this. So that's why I wanted to discuss it, because it's not a real common thing for a lot of accountants. But I had to do a lot of research, and I went through court case after court case, and it's just real confusing on what you can deduct as an expense, or if anything. One of the things that I was very surprised by was that at the federal level, it's still, it's completely illegal no matter what. Now, medical marijuana is not legal, period. And for the longest time, I thought it was. So I just wanted to share that, that surprised me. Medical marijuana, especially when it's pretty well proven that it really helps cancer patients that's on chemo and things like that. It helps with their appetite. So I really am confused by that one. So I went through several court cases, and I found that cost of goods sold seems to be something you can deduct. So cost of goods sold is basically direct cost of your product. So when you have medical marijuana, you grow it, everything is directly made for you to create that product is cost of goods sold. The problem is they make it extremely limited to what is considered cost of goods sold. So I wish I could, the best comparison, but a lot of people don't know, which is Texas is really bad. I don't understand why they have the gross margin tax, which is absolutely horrible. You've got liberal states that tried it and they got rid of it because it was so awful. And that's kind of the way the federal government's trying to treat it. Well, the client that I have is in Oklahoma, and they got out of it because they just said it's too big of a mess to get involved in. And I agree. Once I got into it, started researching, it's basically a state free-for-all on taxes. It's just, they're going to come after you and take as much as they can. And it's really horrible. To give you an example, Oklahoma is what we call a piggyback state. And what does that mean? That means that you have the federal return, your tax return that you fill out, and at the bottom you look for AGI, adjusted gross income. Well, that flows to the state. Now, not every state does it that way, but Oklahoma is one of those. That's why we call it a piggyback state. It goes off your adjusted gross income, which already includes your W-2, self-employment, things of that nature. So, in other words, that you're sitting there with adjusted gross income at the federal level, and you're not able to deduct hardly nothing and paying tax on that. So the state doesn't allow you any subtraction there to deduct it, even though they made it legal in the state of Oklahoma, which doesn't make sense to me. That to me is them treating it like it's still illegal, even though they made it legal. And I don't really have a problem with medical marijuana personally, but I was surprised that it was not legal at the federal level because it's serving a medical purpose. There's drugs on that you get prescribed right now that's worse, way worse than marijuana is, and I have no clue why they're treating it the way they are. But the state of Oklahoma, the way you guys are doing it, and I'm pretty sure the people that work at the Oklahoma Tax Commission probably hate this too, because most of us that are accountants, we thrive in structure, and there's no structure there. I've read cases where they're trying to make them pay use tax along with other taxes, and use tax is usually not, I've never seen it. You purchase something in state and pay use tax like that. Every client, I'm sure there's situations out there. So some of you accountants out there trying to bring up, well, I don't care. I'm bringing up what my experience is. Been self-employed since '97. I'm just going off 20 years of experience and the areas that I've had to deal with. So I just want to clarify that. So if you're going to make remarks, please just avoid me, ignore me, because I don't want that. Of course, you're always going to find some kind of exception to the rule. I'm talking about the most common, and that you guys that are thinking about doing this is really for you guys. And for Oklahoma citizens, they really need to know this, because this is a really, this is a crooked government that are doing this. They're sitting there saying it's legal, but they're treating it as illegal, and they're basically saying, well, local law enforcement can't come and arrest you for it, and that's it. But everything else is a free-for-all. And that's just crooked. That is just crooked. And I hope the state of Oklahoma, and I hope the residents in Oklahoma step up and say, this is just ridiculous. If this is legal, you need to allow them to run it like a regular business. And otherwise, you need to basically revoke it and say it's illegal again. But right now, it looks like a free-for-all, and it's extremely hard to make money. I know you think it's a lot of money, but when you get into the tax side of it, and then all the accounting that goes along with it, because I had to do a tremendous amount of backup. And the client and I just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And, because they're not used to having to go to that level. And we were doing everything we could. And I was very skeptical of every expense. So we were pretty limited. And they wound out with net profit. But the truth is they did not have a net profit because they just started. So they were in the hole. But they can't deduct hardly anything. So it's really a real pain. I'm not so sure if I'm going to take on any more clients like that, because it just, the amount of work that I had to do, and if you add up the amount of time, there's a lot of time there I didn't even get paid for. Because when I went into it, I assumed medical marijuana was legal. I had no idea that it's still considered at the federal level illegal. And, in my opinion, with dealing with Oklahoma, if any of you guys, political figures, are listening to any of these, the way I would handle it from an accountant's perspective is the subtraction line. You allow them, the dispensaries, to deduct every expense that is a business legitimate expense. Anything less than that, you guys are just ripping these people off. And I think it's a scumbag thing to do. And at the federal level, no. I mean, you guys that are in this, you know that at the federal level what they are. So you're just, whatever they do, you're stuck with it. I don't, but I personally think the Congress should step up and say medical marijuana is not the same as going to Colorado and you have no prescription for anything, and you just buy up as much as you, well, I guess the state will have some kind of limitations. I don't know. I've never been there. I really haven't bought it. So you guys that are in Colorado, I'm sure you know if there's a quantity max that you can purchase or whatever. But the way the state of Oklahoma is handling this, and the only reason I know as much as I do is because the one client that I have that's in it. And those people that are thinking about going into it, I would wait. I would wait a little while and make sure that these states get these nailed down. But the Oklahoma, you guys really need to do something here, because this is just, it's really bad for what you guys are doing. And if you guys try to say, yeah, you can deduct that, I don't know what you're talking about. I've researched it. I can't find it anywhere that shows that you can deduct your actual legitimate business expenses on the state return versus the federal. So anybody that can show me that, I would really appreciate it, because then I can definitely amend my client's return and fix it. But I haven't been able to find anything on it. And it's very frustrating, because I know my client's just getting ripped off. um, from the state. So anyway, these are not done as part of my business, and I'm not selling this, and I'm not trying to promote anything. This is mainly just me talking plainly. That's why I'm in a t-shirt and a hat and everything, because I just don't, I don't care about appearance. I'm just trying to give you guys some information of what I ran into. This is not a professional video. I'm just I think I'm hitting subjects that I think a lot of you guys need to know, especially in the medical marijuana area. I feel like you guys are just getting ripped off. And the state of Oklahoma, the application fee is thousands of dollars. And there is absolutely no need to be that much money for that license. And that's another ripoff. And it's just, the state is really taking advantage of people that are trying to get into something that I feel medical is definitely needed. Medical marijuana is definitely needed. And I think Oklahoma is right for doing it. But I still think, but the way they're handling it for taxes, I'm wondering how many of those politicians voted for that just so they could fill the coffers with that additional funds. And that's what I'm thinking is happening here. And somebody needs to do something. So anyway, this is my little way of doing something. And I hope Oklahoma Tax Commission don't hold those people responsible for this stuff. Because I guarantee you they don't like it either. They want structure. How they handle things. They don't want to have to sit there and deal with these issues like this. Because here I am with a master's and I'm going nuts trying to figure out how to deal with this. And in research, reading court cases. I guarantee you they're going through the same thing. And it's frustrating. And it looks like, and I know they know this, it's a free-for-all on the taxes. And it's a ripoff. And it reminds me, honestly, I know this is way back, but the War of Independence, the way the Brits treated us for taxes. It's just so horrendous the way you guys are treating medical marijuana. I just cannot fathom why you guys treat those people that way. So anyway, I'm going to always keep research on this, because if I ever find anything within the next 3 years that nails down that we can actually subtract these things on the state, I'm amending my client's return immediately. Because I really think they just got ripped off on this deal. And they lost a lot of money over it. Granted, they're in it in a short run. If you're big enough, you can sustain. That's why you're saying, oh, well, you have all these successful ones. Well, that's because they built a large operation. These really small ones, the people, if they're sitting there saying, oh, I'm making money, I would highly question it. Because from what I can tell and the research that I've done, I can't find where, at least my client in the start did not make it. They didn't make money. They lost a lot of money. And they can't even deduct it. They can't do anything with it. So basically they're paying tax on something they should never be paying taxes on. And especially when you're talking about medical marijuana. And it's really frustrating. And you guys out there that support selling it to the public, I don't care. I think anything, if you use in moderation, you should be okay with marijuana. Not everything, but medical marijuana, you should be okay. From the people I've spoke to that use it. So I got, a friend that I knew way back when. I haven't saw him in years, but he used to use it for ADD, and it was the only thing that focused his mind. Believe it or not, he's an IT. So hey, you IT people out there, I'm sure he's not the only one out there using it for ADD, but my friend actually was using it for that. I haven't saw him in years, though. That's the thing. So if anybody tries to say, oh, I know I'm sitting there, no, sorry. I haven't saw that guy probably in close to 10 years now. But I just remember what he told me, and that's always stuck with me. So his should be medical. And definitely. So anyway, if you like the video, I appreciate if you'd like it and share it. But the medical marijuana dispensary thing, for tax purposes right now, if I was you, I wouldn't get in it right now, and I would wait. Or if you get into it at a mild level where you're not making very much money, and you can afford the taxes, and it gives you a little time to get yourself acclimated to that business, then I would say you'd probably be okay. But otherwise, I wouldn't touch it. I would wait. Eventually, the state is going to fix it, and it's not going to be fixed because the politicians are like, "Hey, this is not right." No, it's going to come from you guys, they're residents of Oklahoma, saying, "Hey, if you're going to make something legal, you better be honest about it, and not be some crooked, cronyism that they're just sitting there just saying, hey, we're going to take advantage of these people, because they're doing drugs and selling drugs, and now we're going to be able to take advantage of them." It's just really messed up. I don't like it at all, and you guys need to fix it. I'm talking about the politicians, not the Oklahoma Tax Commission. There's a distinction. They're just following what they know. They're doing the same thing I'm doing. They're just trying to figure out, how do we deal with this? And nobody's really laying down how they should be dealing with it. And I know there's people there. I don't know them personally, but from what I saw and the experience with dealing with agents there on other issues, not this, but they're pretty reasonable people, and I'm positive they don't like this. So anyway, you guys, if you have any questions, just let me know. Like I said, I'm always looking out for information. So if you have information on this, something in Oklahoma that says we can deduct, subtract legitimate business expenses with medical marijuana dispensary, I would really appreciate it, because that would help out my client very much. And so anyway, everybody just have a nice day. The day I'm shooting this, it's a beautiful blue sky day, and I just love it. So anyway, all you guys take care, and I appreciate you guys watching the video. My contact information will be in the description area. So basically, it's just my email. You can email me and just ask some questions if you want. All right, take care. Bye.